It is the third and final day of practice here at Lake Toho for stop number 2 of the FLW Tour, which is presented by Ranger Boats. I got Tour champion Tim Fredrick with us. Tim, you won on Okeechobee last year. The Harris Chain of Lakes, which is just up the road, is kind of your home pond. And here we are kind of between them. And there's big bass, you're from Florida, life's good.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, look at the weather. I mean, we've been waiting on these fish, and now we're going to have 3 or 4 days in the 80s. There's a lot of male bass up on the beds right now. The females have got to come in. I seen one pulling in late this evening, but you know, I came to Toho thinking, because my ticket's down the other way, I'm going to run to Kissimmee. But I figured if I could stop at Toho and maybe catch 2 or 3 fish before I'm able to lock through, it's just, you know, you always fish better with a limit. You slow down and fish, and that's the way I like to fish. But the first day, I had a good day. I had a lot of bites. I can't tell you what they were because I'm not sure. I shook them off, but I probably had 25 or 30 bites, and a couple of them I know were big. The next day, it was kind of weird. You know, it kind of got cooler as the day went. The fish kind of stayed back. So this morning when we woke up and the sun was up, I really figured that they were going to pull in hard. But to this point, which is good for us in the tournament, they still haven't bum rushed. The females have still not pulled all the way up. We get tomorrow, off day, no pressure on them. I feel like there's going to be a lot of people surprised Thursday morning if it's sunny. I think it's going to be a really good event. I think there's going to be some big weights. There's going to be some guys. Someone's going to have 30 pounds plus.
I like it.
It's got them. This place has got them.
It really does. It's got a lot of big fish. We saw that last time we were here. The conditions I feel like are setting up a little better than last time we were here. So I think overall we'll see better weights.
I think so as well. I mean, the problem is I think everybody's going to be doing the same thing. So it's kind of like pick your poison, but it just depends if you got 10 boats in your area or 5. You know, if you can get something, someone's going to find something, a little group of something off to themselves, and they're going to smash them. And I'm hoping it's me, but you know, you never know. I really don't know what I'm on. I just know the bites I had. And I know even if they were bucks, I got a lot of bites in a couple different areas. So I'm pretty optimistic. I'm feeling good about it.
Well, Jody and I were talking when we pulled up here. We're at Big Toho Marine on Lake Toho. There's not really a ton of guys that launch here, and even yesterday there weren't a whole pile of guys. So that's got me thinking, is Kissimmee going to be the place to be this week?
Yes.
Or at least the lower lakes, we'll put it that way, because you got Cypress, you got Hatch, you got Kissimmee, a lot of options down that way.
There's still going to be a handful in Toho for sure because of the lock situation. People, you know, people may not plan on staying in Toho, but they pull up on a spot and catch 5 real fast, it'll keep them there for a long time. So I think that I still think 70% of the field is going to be in Kissimmee. I really believe that.
The other thing I haven't asked anyone yet about this week, because we've been talking about this wave of bass that should be pulling up. It seems as though it is going to happen. It's just a matter of time. But the thing we saw last time that produced some really good kicker fish were the shell beds that are out here. Some offshore kind of stuff, which is kind of a fun, different factor for a Florida fishery. Tell me a little bit about that. Well,
3 weeks ago, or right before cutoff, I came down, and that's exactly what I was doing. I was offshore on some shell beds, and I pulled up and caught 3 in the first 5 or 6 casts, and they were the right ones. So I just blipped and left, you know, and I've been looking forward to it. But I started on it this morning without a bite, and I went midday, and I went again just probably an hour ago, and I have not been bit. I've tried to kind of, basically they're going through the bank. So I tried to fish from that offshore spot to the closest bank, and I wasn't able to locate them. Somebody will have good fish out there in that hydrilla, but the hydrilla and the shell bar is going to make if they pull water, those shell bars will come into play. For sure.
Well, I guess the final thing I want to ask is, throw some weights at me. What do you think we'll see for a winning weight?
Winning weight, 88 pounds.
88 pounds. I think I said that last night, maybe. I like that. It's a good guess.
88. I'm going with that. 22 a day. That's what I'm thinking.
I've also kind of asked a few guys this, but I mean, you said a bag over 30. You think we'll see one over 35? I got high hopes.
The hopes are high, and that's a tough one. When you got 170 of the best anglers in the world, that's hard to do. It's hard to do. Now, in practice, if someone wanted to do that, they probably could. But No, I'm going to say it's going to be 31 and some change.
Either way, man, that's a big old
bass. And big bass is going to be 10.65. That's my prediction.
I like it, Tim. I like it. Well, tomorrow's the off day, like you said. You guys get to hang out, relax, and Thursday, I think there's definitely going to be some guys surprised as to what they see when they pull up on their spots.
I think so too, and I'm hoping I'm one of them, because I mean, they haven't pulled in yet, and we had a beautiful day today. It's hot. I'm wind burnt, sunburnt. We got off day tomorrow with no pressure on the lake. Them big girls are going to pull up. I
love it, man. Well, good luck to you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Well, we're rolling right along here. We have Randy Blaukat joining us. Randy, there's a lot of people that have good track records on certain bodies of water. However, I don't think there's a lot of guys in the tour field that have multiple top 10s on Toho like you do. So, I'm looking to you to tell me what the deal with Toho is right now.
You know, it's everybody's talking about this tournament. It's going to be, you know, a slugfest. You know, it's warming up, everything's stable, and you know, I think there's going to be some big bags, but I don't know. That remains to be seen, because to me, there's, you know, there's key areas with those big ones that move up onto right now, and it's like a lot of it just depends on the fishing pressure in those key areas, and if you get that big bite. I mean, this is a lake that you don't go out and average like a 4-pound average. You have to get that 7 to 9 pounder with the limit to do good. So I think it's going to be a good tournament, but I think you're going to see a top-heavy type of a setup here. I think you're going to see some incredible bags. I think there's going to be some, you know, eye-popping bags every day of the tournament. But as it goes down, like, you know, 30th, 40th, and 50th place, I think you're going to see more of a traditional type tournament. But this is going to be a top-heavy tournament in my opinion.
Well, we've heard from some guys that, yeah, sure, there's a lot of focus on, you know, this wave of fish that's looking to pull up and spawn, and I know there's a lot of bucks out there and females that have yet to come, but in Florida they spawn just kind of a lot throughout the, you know, the winter months, really. So there's probably some post-spawn fish too. There's probably some pre-spawn fish. Have you tried to dial at all anything that's not related to the spawn?
Yeah, I've basically been focusing on the pre-spawners a lot here. You know, I've got two different areas. I've got one area that's got some pre-spawn fish in it. I've got one area that the fish are starting to move up into, and how good they move up into and how many females move up into that area remains to be seen. But I tried to practice for both. I tried to practice for them coming and for the stagers, because I mean, they don't do everything at once here. I mean, you've got a window of a month where they come and go. So but the thing about this lake right now, there's a lot of dead water. I mean, if you get into the right area, you're going to get bit and you're going to get multiple bites, but you can fish and fish and fish and not get any bites out here real easy right now. So this tournament is going to be total area related. It's going to be spot related. The guys that do good are going to catch them in small areas, and that's typical Florida fishing.
Will this be one of those deals where, you know, guy on day one, like a JT Kenny last time, catch him really, really good, and then you just kind of hang on? Or do you think the bite will stay good enough throughout the event that, you know, you'll be able to keep catching pretty decent bags? And by that I'm saying like maybe 18 plus.
Yeah, I think if you've got a good area, it's gonna produce every day of the tournament, all 4 days for you. It's just a matter of getting that key bite. And a lot of it, like I said, this tournament boils down to how much fishing pressure is in those key areas. Because when you roll into an area and it's got the right mix of cover, it's got the right water clarity, that stands out and that draws a lot of attention in there. When somebody rolls in there, those fish are not hard to get to bite, and you know, but you put 5 or 6 boats in a small area and it has an impact on it. So that's the big variable that I've seen.
Well, one of the factors that exists here on this fishery is you got the lock. You know, we're taking off here in Toho. You got to lock your way down to the lower lakes. A lot of people tend to do that. There's also the canals, current and stuff. There's all kinds of different factors. Do you think we will see a mass exodus out of Toho on day one? Do you think a lot of stuff's going to happen on the lower lakes?
I think that the majority of the checks are going to come outside of Toho, but I think the tournament's probably going to get, the big bags are going to get caught in Toho off of beds, you know, because of the sight fish. There's not much sight fishing down once you go through the lock here. You got the clear
watercolor here is good.
Yeah, in sort of my prediction, I look for the first day leader to come out of Toho with a really, really big bag of fish, And then as far as the winner of the tournament or the top finishers, I look them, you know, possibly down the lake over there.
Okay.
So but if we you know, lose the wind, and if we have a slick day the first day of the tournament, you're going to see some big bags of bedfish here.
I like it. I like it. The final thing I want to leave you with is, I want to know a winning weight from you. I want to know what you think it's going to take to win this Derby.
I think it's probably going to take 80 to 90 pounds. You know, a lot of it, I mean, that's still catching them really good.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be super hard to catch 25 pounds a day here and hit the 100-pound mark. Because in order to catch 25 a day here, you got to get hit by multiple big fish every single day of the tournament. So I think the first day of the tournament, you're going to see somebody with a giant bag, and like you said, maybe back it up with a 15, 18 pound bag the rest of the week. But I'm guessing 80 to 90 is going to win this thing.
I love it, Randy. Well, we'll let you get home, get some rest. You guys got an off day tomorrow. We'll see how it shakes out Thursday. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks a lot.